Hi there, and welcome back to the I Do Me podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Stanley. This week, we're talking how to have better orgasms. Now, there is this mindset that a lot of people have, particularly women, that they're broken or they're the problem or there's something wrong with them that's stopping them from having those earth shattering orgasms that you see on TV. And we're going to be getting rid of that mindset today. Nobody actually taught us how orgasms work. It's not part of sex ed. Sex ed is about, in schools at least, is about shaming sex. We're about the opposite here. So today we're going to talk about how orgasms actually happen, what leads up to it, how they work physically, and we're going to talk about some common orgasm blockers. So, mental blocks, emotional blocks, even neurological blocks that are stopping you from having those amazing orgasms. So, this is about building a better understanding of your body. Let's explore. So, I guess we should start by talking about what actually is an orgasm. And in basic terms, an orgasm is a buildup of arousal and then a release of tension. That's the simple explanation. But an orgasm actually happens first in your brain, then the nervous system, and then the muscles throughout the rest of your body. So you, you can understand if that orgasm starts in the brain, it plays such a massive role in terms of anticipation, focus your sort of concentration on what's going on, and how safe you feel in the moment as well has a massive impact on your ability to even get there. So, really, the biggest sex organ in your body is your brain. In terms of some of the most common things that stop people from crossing over that sort of build up and anticipation to actually having an orgasm, starts in the brain. Like we said, that's where it all starts. So overthinking is a really common one. Focusing too much on the fact that you're not currently having an orgasm or it doesn't feel like you're about to have an orgasm, you start sort of going around in circles in your head thinking that, well, I'm not going to. And if you're in that space where you're thinking to yourself, it's just not going to happen tonight, then it won't. You've also got like performance pressure as well, right? Especially if you're having partnered sex. You don't want them to feel like they're doing a bad job. You feel that pressure that, well, no, I have to come because it's part of this experience, and without it, this experience means nothing, which isn't true, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Even just feeling like you're taking too long, it that contributes to those other, the overthinking and stuff as well, because you've got this idea in your head. It's like a countdown clock, and if you don't get to that point, you start trying to force it, and trying to force yourself to have an orgasm is anti-orgasmness. It's not going to happen. The harder you try, the further away you're going to get from that sort of crescendo moment that you want to have, because you're analyzing. You're not in the moment. You've left your body and you're standing over yourself, analyzing critically, why isn't this working? Right? So those are some of the blockers that happen straight away in the brain. Then you've got your emotional blockers as well. So if you're not feeling fully safe or relaxed in a situation, maybe it's a one night stand, maybe it's someone that you've not met before. If you're not fully relaxed in that moment, it's going to make it very hard. And then outside of that, just your sort of day to day mental load and stress plays a huge role on your orgasm ability. I don't know if that's a word or not, but it is now. Maybe you've had a rough week at work. Maybe you've got bills coming up that you need to pay. Maybe there's a big project at uni coming up. That day-to-day stress, it plays on your ability to actually have an orgasm. And then The other one that we sort of have to talk about from an emotional perspective is disconnection. If it's partnered sex, maybe things aren't going so well in the relationship. Maybe they haven't been for a while. Maybe you're feeling more distant or disconnected from that person. That's going to play a role as well in how easy or hard it is for you to actually have an orgasm at all. In order for us to go past the brain and to the nervous system to actually start triggering the physical aspects of an orgasm, your body has to feel safe. You have to feel safe and relaxed to allow that release to happen. And if you don't, it's not going to let go and you're not going to get there. Now, of course, as much as the brain is playing a huge role, emotions are playing a huge role, your body's got something to do with it, right? There are some physical blocks that might be going on as well. And one of them is not enough stimulation. And of course, these all play into each other. So maybe someone's, it's again, we're going to go partnered sex. This applies to masturbation, obviously, as well. But maybe you're just not giving yourself enough in terms of stimulation. Sometimes you need more. Maybe the vibrator's not doing it for you. Your bullet's half dead. You haven't bothered to charge it. It's not doing it. Maybe vibration's not even the correct type of stimulation for you. And again, Sex Toy 101, experiment with different types. Maybe it's going to be a tapping sensation that is a more responsive stimulation for you. Maybe it's air pulse. Maybe it's something flicking or stroking. Different types of stimulation, which is why I always recommend, experiment. Buying a sex toy is a trial and error process. You've got to try a variety of things to see which one is actually the correct type of stimulation for you. So you can have that right type of stimulation, but still be rushing the process, right? I've got 10 minutes to rub one out before I've got to go to work or I've got to meet friends or something like that. Rushing yourself, whether it's partnered sex or solo play, it's not the vibe. The more you try and rush it, again, you're taking yourself out of the moment, which leads to holding that tension in your body. If you've ever been halfway through sex or halfway through masturbating and someone knocks on the door or your phone rings and you get pulled out of that moment, you've probably noticed that you can feel that tension for the rest of the day, maybe for a couple of days, depending on how worked up you were when you were interrupted. But that tension stays in the body if you're not getting the release of orgasm. So all these things are working together to stop us from having orgasms. They're stopping us from having better orgasms. What can we do to actually address those issues? One by one, let's talk about having better orgasms. So there's a few key aspects that come into this. And the first one is presence, which is why we did the guided meditation. There's 2 out there now. But being aware and present in your own body instead of in your head, factor number 1, that's essential. You want to be in the moment, in your body as much as possible so that you can focus on the sensations that you're experiencing instead of fixating on the outcome, right? The goal. Instead of thinking about, I can't wait to come, be thinking about, this feels really good. Orgasm's something that you allow. It's not something that you chase down like a gazelle. Following on from that, we need to build an understanding of our preferred type of arousal. You need to, you're present in your body. Now we have to understand what your body actually enjoys. Everybody's body responds differently to different stimulations. So not just the type of stimulation, right? So are we enjoying the vibration? Are we air pulse? Are we tapping? But the rhythm, right? The pace of that stimulation matters. The pressure, it all comes into play. And annoyingly, what worked yesterday might not work today. but it might work again next week. So don't expect your body to always respond the same way to the same stimulation, right? We all understand that variety is the spice of life. So don't fixate or stick to something that's not working in the moment, because it's not going to magically start working halfway through. The next step is communication. And this applies obviously during partnered sex, right? You need to communicate with your partner in order to have better sex in general, let alone better orgasms. But communicating with yourself as well. So being aware and present is one thing, but actually listening to what your body is telling you, that's a whole nother ball game. Noticing what feels good and expressing it to yourself, listening to what your body is telling you. But then, yeah, of course, if it's partnered sex, expressing what feels good. If something's feeling good at the moment, don't keep it to yourself. Let your partner know so that they know to keep doing it. You're removing the guesswork out of the situation, whether it's solo or with a partner. And if it is with a partner, you're building a stronger connection. Like I said, it's going to lead to better sex. It's going to lead to more and better orgasms as well. And remember that toys are there to be helpful. We're not replacing anyone. We're not giving up and just flicking on the Orgasmatron 2000. They're there to help. It's an enhancement. It's an extension. It's not a crutch. Whether you're a man or a woman, something you can do from the physical aspect to help your body experience stronger orgasms. Work on your pelvic floor muscles. This is something that almost never gets talked about. It's certainly not talked about at sex ed in school, because we don't teach pleasure, we teach shame. So the pelvic floor is basically a group of muscles, sort of like a hammock at the base of your pelvis, and they support your internal organs, things like your bladder. Now, why it matters so much to orgasm is because those muscles contract during orgasm. It's it's not the trigger, it's the response. It influences the sensation and the intensity and your control as well over that orgasm and how long it lasts. So if your pelvic floor muscles are nice and strong and responsive and you have more control over them, that will result in more noticeable contractions. In other words, stronger orgasms. If your pelvic floor muscles, though, are too tight, it can block pleasure altogether. If they're too weak, it can reduce the intensity of that pleasure. So it's not about strength as much as it is about control, being aware of the muscles and having that ability to let go, to release that tension. Now, the great news is the pelvic floor, like I said, are a collection of muscles. You can train muscles, you can exercise muscles. But step one is finding it and how to build that awareness of where that group of muscles actually is. And the easiest way to do this, and don't do it super regularly, do it a couple of times just so you can be aware of how to contract these muscles for the exercises we're going to talk about. The easiest way to do it is to stop yourself from peeing while you're peeing. Midstream, clench and not clench, contract until the flow of urine stops. That's your pelvic floor. It's in charge of the bladder. So doing that will give you that awareness of where that group of muscles actually is and how you can contract it. And again, don't do this over and over again. It's not great for your bladder. UTIs are the opposite of fun. Do it once or twice to familiarize yourself with how to control that muscle group, and then please just finish peeing. Now, in terms of strengthening that muscle, or like we said, it's not about strength so much as it is about control. What you want to do is slowly contract, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, and then fully release. give yourself a couple of breaths in between. Do that 5 to 10 times. And then the other one you can do is shorter, quicker contractions. Combining those sort of quick pulses with the longer holds and making sure you rest in between is going to very quickly, if you stick with it consistently, obviously, it's going to build your awareness and control over that muscle group. I 100% guarantee you it is going to result in stronger orgasms that you have more control over. Now, if you're someone who doesn't feel like you can commit mentally to that sort of a routine, if you're not an exercise person, which I'm not even a morning person, that's why these things get posted so late at night, there are some things to help. Number one, apps. So you can get some Kegel training apps, whether you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. Just because it's called Kegel, it's still your pelvic floor, right? It's the same group of muscles contracted in the same way. So don't feel like Kegels aren't for me because I have a penis. Kegels are for you too. So you can get apps that will come with prompts for, contract, hold. But the more useful part of it is notifications. So you set up your routine within the app and it will actually remind you to do it. And because it's something you can do literally anywhere at any time, it's really handy. On the bus, on the way to work, while you're sitting at your desk, while you're having coffee with your friends, you can do these exercises anywhere. Discrete notifications on the phone to remind you are wonderful. There's also some physical products, of course, that you can get to help this process as well. The most simple of which being your Kegel balls or your Kegel trainers. This is where we deviate, guys. Apologies. These are inserted into the vagina, and the idea is that you are using the physical presence of something to focus your contractions. So you're actually clenching down on something instead of just using the muscles without anything there. A lot of people find this helpful. You can get ones that vibrate. You can get ones that have weighted steel balls in them. The point of the weight is if you're wearing them while you're walking, gravity is trying to pull them down. And without even having to think about it, your pelvic floor is trying to prevent that. So it's almost a set and forget deal. You can also get app controlled ones. So you're combining the two, the physical product with the reminders and the incentives. I mean, some of them even, you must have heard of the game Flappy Bird. Some of them have similar like mobile games that you can play using your pelvic floor muscle contractions. Technology is a beautiful thing, but no matter how you decide to embrace it and which way to go about it, work on your pelvic floor. It is the easiest thing you can do to physically improve your orgasms with the minimal amount of effort right now. Whether you're exercising your Kegel floor, whether you're having partnered sex, whether you're masturbation, one of the most important physical aspects that you cannot overlook is breath. You have to breathe. If you're doing pelvic floor muscles, you actually relax on the inhale and then engage on the exhale. With everything else, obviously, you're breathing in and holding, contracting, tensing those muscles, and then letting it out on the breath out. But focus on your breath. Remember to breathe. Breathing is such a massive, important part of sex. And then I think the most impactful piece of advice I can give for having better orgasms overall is to let go of the goal of having an orgasm in the first place. The more focused you are on getting to that endpoint, the harder it is to get there. So don't think of orgasm as the objective. It's not the goal. Putting that pressure on yourself, like I said earlier, is going to make it harder. Orgasm isn't the goal. It's not the end point. It's part of the journey. So embrace each step of the journey without fixating on the destination, and you will find yourself at the destination a lot easier. So let's recap. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with your body. Your body is capable of having incredible, earth-shattering, sheet-drenching orgasms. You're not fixing anything. You're learning about your body and becoming more aware. It doesn't come from doing more, it comes from understanding more. Your body already wants to have better orgasms. It's instinctual, it's built into our DNA, because if we didn't have orgasms, we wouldn't have sex, we wouldn't reproduce, and we wouldn't be here at all. So your body knows how to do it, you just have to let it. So building that awareness and actually practicing it. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know on social media. As always, if you are someone who likes to watch the videos that go along with these, it'll be up on YouTube. I'll see you next time.